Welcome back to Trinidad Speakers. Joining us on set, we have Ian Chinapoo, and we're talking a little bit about the Distinguished Lecture Series, and this is all part of the Arthur Lockjack's Graduate School of Business, their attempt to ensure that they not only take teaching to the next level, but they share the knowledge and equip business community of Trinidad and Tobago with the tools necessary to survive the changing economic times. Good morning, Ian. How are you?
Good morning, Hema.
What is DLIC?
Well, of course, the Distinguished Leadership and Innovation Conference in its 15th year, bringing the premier conference series to Trinidad and Tobago for business leaders, academics, NGOs, anybody who's interested in being better at what they do and being a better leader.
Now, in terms of the event itself, 15 years on, is it still relevant?
Oh, very relevant. I mean, we've had speakers like you wouldn't believe. You had Peter Senge, you have all these gurus, Daniel Pink, Marcus Buckingham. This year, we have Jim Collins of Good to Great fame. Okay, we have Sir Ken Robinson, innovation, creative, human potential. That's what his focus on. We also have Pankaj Gimawat, who is the youngest guru listed as a management thinker, and he's about globalization. How do you take a small economy and still compete globally and be great? I mean, you only have to look to Singapore to see what they've done. So Trinidad and Tobago being small, human capital is what we have. So we have to look to leadership, look to innovation, look to creativity, and this conference brings the best minds available to help us look to ways that we can compete in this challenging economy we have.
You know, Ian, there's always people believe that there's sort of a disparity and a divergent gap that exists between first world business practice and what we see passing in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, the emerging market has been proving them wrong. That's where the engine of growth has been in the world today. And in the past, yes, size really mattered. But now, I think human potential, creativity, you've seen some very relatively small countries do great things. And you've seen relatively small businesses become, 7 years ago, remember names like Nokia, those names, Kodak, they don't exist anymore. So really, it's the upstarts. And we have to find our place in that part of the economy in the world.
Now, in terms of the three speakers that you will be featuring, I know they're Good to Great. Everyone knows that book. What in particular are you looking forward to hear them say, basically?
Well, I'm speaking as a lecturer at UE as well, at Lockjack. However, I'm also speaking as a business person. And when you think about Jim Collins, he's looking at how some companies and leaders, practical research, have taken and gotten superior results. And also he's looking at what made great companies in the past self-destruct. So that's going to be really insightful information. Pankaj Gimawat, he is all about globalization and looking at how we can find our place. And when you think about diversification, we look to the government. They have a geographic boundary. Business is the entities that can actually go global and bring foreign exchange, bring new revenues into the country. So we have to find ways to do that. And he's an expert in globalization, LATAM and the Caribbean region. He'll be talking about how that has been done. We have Sir Ken Robinson, who's the #1 most watched TED Talk speaker in history. And he's again about the human potential, creativity, innovation. And that's big for all of us now.
You know, you talk about the human potential, creativity, and there's a dearth of information or an inability to recognize the intangibles on the human potential. You know, a lot of times, I used to joke with my lecturers, Ian, that I wasted 2 years of my life because business practice in Trinidad is absolutely not what you learn, especially HR practice.
Well, I hear you, and I think it's how you apply the knowledge. And yes, you can look for all the reasons why people cannot achieve their full potential, but it's really a self-combusting engine, as I say. Not getting into lecture mode. but being creative is not about where you come from, or it's about where you're going.
So how do you convince managers that this is the best way to do? Or you talk about the human potential. There is an inability to recognize a creative potential or to even assess a proper barometer. And you know what I'm talking about, scales of compensation, scales of recognizing talent.
Oh, I agree and disagree with you in the sense that we have a lot of success stories, but sometimes they don't get recognized. We have people who are doing great things out there. We always hear about, the business leaders after they've been successful, but we have young people who are doing great things now. We see them every day. And, for example, the IMAX came out of a business case at LockJack.
Many people don't know that, but that is true.
Right.
Let's tell people about the details of the conference. What
Sure.
are you looking forward to most of this event? Why should I, at a time of a recession when people are like, I don't know whether I want to spend money to train my staff, because there are some companies that do absolutely no training at all.
Right.
What do you want to tell them?
Well, this is really for leaders and senior managers who have to take the next step forward for their companies. So what I want to tell them is that the potential or the things that you don't know is really what this conference will give you. So Sir Ken Robinson, Jim Collins, Pankaj Gamawat, they are experts in their field, and they're going to open our minds, as has happened in the last 15 years. I can speak to that personally. The things that I'm doing a culture change initiative at UTC right now that came out of Marcus Buckingham's work. So ultimately, we are incorporating what you learn. And I think leaders out there, come to the conference, your mind is going to be blown.
Yeah, culture change is a huge thing. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more for you. But you can get more information, the date, the times, the venues, and definitely check it out. I've attended many of the conferences, and it really does enhance your capabilities.
Share the contact details?
Well, all of it went up on the screen, actually.
Okay, great.
Great. So
Wonderful.
have a good one, and we'll see you after the break.